Oh,
I thought you were playing the song.
I am going to play it. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. I'm trying to be a parent, but I gotta run an errand. I promise when I'm back, I'ma feed my kid a carrot. Damn, this stuff is tough, man, I thought it was inherent. I'm trying to be a parent, I'm trying to be a parent. Sometimes you gotta drink, cause that shit can be kinda stressful. Sometimes you hit the blunt, cause that green will help you rest, yo. You know your ass be slacking when you gotta look up things on YouTube. Like, bro, how you wipe your baby boo-boo? Now welcome to the podcast, trying to parent and make moms laugh. Who you know got it like the King's family. Amanda and Sean, it's the name G, yeah. Now welcome to the podcast, trying to parent and make pops laugh. Who you know got it like the King's family. Amanda and Sean, it's the name G, yeah.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the very first episode of Trying to Parent podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, I am Amanda King.
I am Sean King.
Woohoo. And we are very excited to have you guys here with us to start this lovely journey of ours.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a long road.
Yeah, I hope you guys are in it for the long haul.
Yeah, me too.
Nice
I know
little
you guys love that.
refreshing.
Yeah, so let's just hop right into a few things, get them taken care of.
Yeah.
As far as social media goes, please, everybody's got it. If you're ever so kind and willing to follow us on, let's see, our Facebook at Trying to Parent. People still use Facebook? Is that an old person thing? You still use that shit because you're like 47 years old. Yeah, so follow us on Facebook at Trying to Parent. On Instagram, same thing, trying. It's the number 2, parent. And then if you guys like to watch on YouTube, we are shooting this.
Yes.
There is footage. You can see.
Our lovely expressions.
Yeah. And Amanda, you're really going to want to see Amanda, I feel like, this whole time. I'm going to have to get you a much more comfortable chair. That would also be trying space parent. Not sure how important that is, but yeah, go ahead. Follow us there. Subscribe. Check it all out. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, this is very important. Please do us a favor and leave us a 5-star rating.
5 stars.
And go ahead and just leave us a little comment.
Yeah.
Write a little review,
Whatever feedback you want to give us.
Something nice, something
Hopefully.
sweet. Yeah. Or
Because if I'm pregnant, I'm going to cry. No.
yeah, if this sucks, say something nice to us to make us feel better, because we obviously will know it sucks too. So that'll be nice. That'll be nice of you guys. Yeah, you want to just get right into it? I mean, basically what we're even doing here. This is, like she said, the Trying to Parent podcast. So this is going to be about parenting.
Yeah, and all the lovely experiences that go along with that.
And yeah, this episode is about what? What do you have to do first if you want to become a parent?
You got to do it.
You got to do it. Yep. This podcast is definitely going to be about doing it. Oh, that's going to be good.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
Gosh.
So, yeah, this episode is about trying to conceive.
And just
kind of some of our background
yeah.
about us, why we decided to do a podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So, as we stated a little earlier, we're Amanda and Sean King.
We are now the Kings.
We are now the
King
Kings.
family.
As of 2 months ago.
The sign behind me, the light up sign. Shout out to Zach for getting us that.
Yeah, we tied the knot 2 months ago.
Just got married, had an awesome wedding.
Oh, yeah. It was
Kind of a not really post-COVID wedding, but yeah, we were lucky enough to not have to postpone ours.
Yeah.
So that was nice. A lot of people throughout 2020 had to do that. And we had ours in September, early September.
Of 2021.
And
it was beautiful.
Yeah, not really any restrictions, at least here in Oregon and Washington for those type of things. So that was cool.
Yeah, we're far enough along to where it didn't really have a major impact. I mean, besides our food truck canceling the morning of. But
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Besides that, we've been together for what, a little over 3 years now?
Yep. A little over 3 years. You proposed at our 2-year anniversary, and we're basically married on the 3rd.
Yep.
Within a couple weeks, so.
Yeah, so it seems to have gone quite quickly.
I know. It's gone by really fast. We've done a lot of really cool things together, though. But
Yeah, we have. Our life is full of excitement.
Yeah.
Full of sitting on the couch and watching The Office, but also full of excitement. Big time Office watchers.
Oh, yep. It's definitely my favorite. I'll probably make a lot of references of it throughout this whole thing. So if you don't like The Office, I'm not sure.
Get out of here.
Just kidding. But yeah, so we, I guess, decided to make this podcast. If you guys are jumping over from our old podcast, House of Sinners, we greatly appreciate, the returning love, and this podcast will be nothing like that podcast, but
yeah, this will be, like she said, if you're coming over from that podcast, thank you so much. We had a lot of good support on that podcast. We kind of not grew out of that because we still have that same ridiculous sense of humor. If you have not listened to that podcast and you're listening to this podcast, don't go listen to that.
No.
You'll look at us a completely different way.
And probably not good.
Yeah, and you'll be like, these fucking people are having a kid? Holy shit, this is going to be tough. But yeah, if you have listened to that and now you're listening to this, thank you so much for the support. This will not be that, but It will be a really awesome look into our lives and all of the crazy stuff you go through, much like we said in the intro of what the podcast was going to be about. It's going to be that.
Yeah. And we had such a fun time making the other podcast. We were like, what is something that we can, continue to do together? Doing these weekly episodes, or when we were doing the last one, I just thought, like, I looked forward to it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so fun to make them. And, we can just discuss things that maybe we wouldn't normally.
Definitely. And like we said in the intro, there's a lot of things that people are unsure about when getting pregnant, when being pregnant, when having a kid. I mean, we don't know very much about any of that stuff.
No.
Your brothers have kids. My sister has kids. She just had another kid last week.
Yeah.
And so.
But we don't live by any of these babies.
Yeah. We're not by any babies. So I've never really taken care of babies in my life. And
I used to babysit all the time.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing for guys to babysit. It's much more. Much more in like Europe and stuff like that. My good friend Freddie that we're gonna go see in Germany, he used to be an au pair or what? I think that's what you call it. He used to do that. So I don't think people would want me to babysit their kids because of the way I look, but I would be really good at it because I'm great with kids.
Yeah, you are.
So very misleading. Kids see me, they're like kind of scary, and then they get to know me and they're like, giant teddy bear. Let me crawl all over this kid.
It's like my niece with you the first
we
time.
Have the same. We're on the same education level, and
God. Like this guy's stupid.
You're like, wow, this guy can barely write, and I don't know how to write, so we're very close.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, so we're going to be going through a lot of just information. We'll give you a lot of inside looks on what we're going to be doing as parents, really the process of us learning, hopefully you learning with us.
Yeah.
Or if you're a listener and you've already gone through this process,
help a girl out.
You emailing us in, calling, sending, messages, whatever the form of communication may be, and helping us out with the screw-ups that we constantly have because, like we said before, this is trial and error.
Yeah. And I mean, being that my brothers had the kids, but I haven't really, neither of us have really like grown up. I mean, I've been around kids a whole lot, but obviously being around them like 24/7 is just something that neither of us have done before. So, so another reason of why I thought it'd be cool for us to do this podcast, like we were looking through all of the podcast categories of like pregnancy and parenting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we came across like one other one that's a husband and wife. Other than that, it's just women talking about it. And I feel like there's such a large audience of men out there too. Like, they want the dad's perspective. It's not freaking all about
it seems
the lady.
to be like
moms and their friends.
and their daughters, and not like moms and their babies, like moms who have grown-up daughters who now do podcasts together because they have kids, and like friends,
that
girlfriends,
are pregnant at the same time, and do podcasts together.
So you're not getting much of a male's perspective on the whole pregnancy process, and obviously you're doing like all the work. We're mostly here for support, and
you're here to eat the things that I want to eat too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm hoping that's not going to happen, because I have horrible
we are so bad about that.
Yeah, I'm
like, you want to go to Popeyes? Yeah,
Of course I want to try the new hottie sandwich from Popeyes, girl Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, so that'll be a topic for later discussion, but we just thought we could give a new perspective on this whole thing. Again, the podcast is mostly going to be about Amanda's perspective and going through things, but you're also going to get my perspective as the other person in the relationship that's helping her through everything and making sure she doesn't go crazy and making sure she's, staying healthy and being off her feet and,
all the good,
not
loving,
blowing up to 350 plus. Because it could easily happen. It could happen to both of us, which is a scary thing. I'm very worried about that.
I think we'll be fine.
Hopefully.
Yeah, the timing's right. Let's see. We moved from Arizona to Washington.
Yeah, we used to live in Arizona for the majority of our lives.
Yep.
Amanda's from there, and I lived most of my life there.
So funny. Just kidding.
Relax, no gang affiliation here. And yeah, after we met and started dating for a while.
I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. Are you in or you out?
And moved in together. We're like, bro, fuck Arizona. We did not like that place. So we decided to move up to the Pacific Northwest.
Because my brother.
Where her brother lives, And
I lived here briefly.
We're now located in Vancouver, Washington, which we say Vancouver and everybody's like, you moved to Canada? I'm like, learn your geography.
Like, you literally just flew into the Portland airport to see me. Like,
yes, we did not move to Canada, even though obviously there is a Vancouver, Canada. We live in Vancouver, Washington, which is basically the first city you go into once you cross the Columbia River from
Portland.
Yeah, from Oregon into Washington.
Yeah.
So we're right there. But we moved up here. We rented for a little while. We decided to buy a house. Luckily, like right before everything got way too expensive.
Gosh, yeah.
'Cause, wow, you could get a box here for $300,000 and live on the corner with everybody else.
Yes.
It's ridiculous, but it's so beautiful. So we got that makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Every time we leave the house, I'm like, oh God, look at these trees.
Trees are
Look at
amazing.
the trees, man, and grass. There's like actual grass.
The color green, very prevalent here, which was something we lacked a lot of in Arizona. So we are loving it, and it's going to be awesome to have a baby child up here.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Like, I wanted to relocate before because I knew if we had a kid in Arizona, I'd probably never leave. I mean, I'm saying that loosely,
it would be hard. It would be hard, one, because your parents live there still, and then your brother just moved there, and like
right after.
Yeah, right after we left, her brother with his kids and everything moved there, and so that would just be. It would be difficult. Luckily for you, your job allows you to work from home. And so when we moved up here, you didn't have to go to the office or anything. So you're working from home.
Yeah.
I'm currently trying to get a job working from home because we want to be, quote, stay-at-home parents.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But again, before we do all that, you got to make the child.
Mm-hmm. So when did you, how long have you known that you wanted to be a dad?
I'm one of those people that, like, I don't know, as long as I could remember, I wanted to be a dad because I've always been so good with kids, and I've always just been a huge kid at heart. So I'm like, I had a really good relationship with my dad, with both of my parents, and they did such a good job raising my sister and I that I'm like, oh, I know this is something that I'd be made for.
Yeah, you have great examples.
Yeah, and the great thing about having great examples was I saw a lot of poor examples of other people raising their kids. And I mean, not to shoot down anybody, but there were just a lot of people that I was like, man, I wish my parents were able to raise these kids. Some of my friends where I'm just like, you would be in a much better situation. My parents just did
Totally.
such a good job,
Yeah.
you know, giving my sister and myself so much love and tons of opportunity and always being there for us whenever we had to go through anything crazy, which was a lot of the time. And just, like I said, super supportive. So
Yeah,
I knew
same.
right away that I'm like, I'm made to be a dad. I can't wait to do this and see if I can outdo my dad, be a better dad than he was, which is, you know,
Oh, he's pretty good.
Yep, a big thing to live up to, big shoes to fill. But yeah,
I-
I've always known. What about you?
I think you're going to be a wonderful dad.
Oh, thanks. It's all a front. I'm gonna be a shit dad. I'm
Like
leaving as soon
stabbing
as
him under the table.
I'm
No.
leaving as soon as you get that. As soon as you get that baby in you. I'm not. That's horrible.
Put a ring on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've always known that I wanted to be a mom. I guess in my head, I thought it would happen earlier in my life, but then the older I get, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not ready right now. Like, I know.
What are you, like 39?
No, shut up. No, I'm 32. I just turned 32
August 30th.
a couple days before our wedding.
Yep.
So like when I was a little girl, I wasn't like, oh man, in my mid 30s, I want to be a mom. Like, you know, you always think it's gonna happen
Yeah.
at like 25. Like, oh, I'm gonna get married.
But
I'm
when
gonna
you're
have a
that
family.
young, 30s seems really old.
It does. And then you become in your 30s and you're like, holy shit, I still have no idea what I'm doing. Like, does everyone else feel this way? And then I look at my friends that had kids super, super young. And I'm just like, damn, you just like, this is just your life. Like, you don't know any different, just like I don't know any different, you know, of our lanes that we're in.
Yep.
And it's just, I always think about that, like, damn, they never had the freedom, you know, or whatever. But it's, I mean, starting a family is a beautiful thing too. So, I mean.
Yeah. And I mean, you're lucky enough to be in the position where you can have kids because we know a bunch of people personally that don't have the luxury of just being able to get pregnant and have kids. So if you get pregnant early, you know, that's one thing. If you get pregnant later on, that's another thing. But you're just lucky enough to be able to get pregnant. So if you're lucky enough to choose when you get pregnant, that's, you know, that's super ideal.
Really, really blessed. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think that an advantage, I mean, not saying people that had children or, you know, younger in their life, like not knocking you at all, but I've definitely grown a lot as a person over the last 10 years.
Dude, the responsibility to have a kid in your 20s, even in your like early to mid 20s, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm 29. I'll be 30 in March, and I'm still like, I don't know. Like, what? But they just, when it happens, it makes you grow up so fast. You're just
Yeah.
like, hey, I guess I'm going to be responsible for this little person, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make it work. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, it's really cool. Plus, when you're that old or when you're that young, your kids get out of the house really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, so a lot of people are like, hey, I'm going to have them early, and I can travel a lot once I'm, you know, once they're out of the house.
Yeah, like in my 40s, that'll be my prime time. Like,
Yeah, luckily for us, we've done a lot of traveling beforehand.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of big traveling coming up.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that I think was a factor in a lot of our timing as far as.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, besides like the wedding and all that stuff, my mom kept saying like, please don't get pregnant before your wedding. You want your dress, like you want all of that to go good. Worry about that later. And so that's where we're at right now. But speaking of, you know, the traveling that we're doing, so a factor of trying to decide like when we were going to start trying to get pregnant, we leave for a honeymoon in
Literally tomorrow will be like 2 weeks. Tomorrow's the 8th, and we leave on the 23rd,
Yeah,
the morning of the 23rd. So math.
Yep, the 23rd. So our honeymoon, so as we said earlier, we got married 2 months ago, but for our honeymoon, we're going to Europe.
We're doing this awesome trip through
Epic.
Europe. I cannot freaking wait.
Oh my gosh.
Break it down for you real quick. We're flying into Helsinki, Finland, out of Portland. Helsinki, Finland. Then we go down to Warsaw, Poland. And then we go to Budapest, Hungary. And then we go to Vienna, Austria. From Vienna, Austria, we go to Prague, Czech Republic. Prague, Czech Republic, we go up to Hamburg, Germany, which is where my good friend Freddie, the au pair, lives and has lived for a while. Did you say whatever that means?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you don't know what au pair means? Come on.
Actually, I don't know what it means, but
It's like, don't quote me on this because I'm full of shit, but I'm pretty sure it's a male version of like a nanny.
Okay.
I think. European
Someone
word.
let us know.
Yeah, in the comments. From Hamburg, Germany, we get to hang out with him for a couple days. And then we go to Copenhagen, Denmark.
Copenhagen, like your shirt.
Copenhagen. A couple days in Copenhagen, Denmark. And then we go back to Helsinki, Finland for like a night, a day and a half or something. And then we fly back home. It's like a 17-day honeymoon.
Yep.
Living at large. I'm super excited for that.
Hell.
And we're going, so we're shooting this, like obviously before we get pregnant and everything, even though the intro said we're pregnant. By the time you guys actually hear these episodes, we will be pregnant. That's when we're going to release them. But we're just doing a little, foreshadowing. And so anyways.
So you know what we have gone through by the time
Yes.
this
We
comes
didn't
out.
want to just jump in while we were pregnant because trying to conceive is a big portion of being pregnant.
Yeah.
You have to get the baby inside the womb.
So that's like
beforehand.
your job there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to nail that figuratively and literally. I lost my train of thought.
I don't know, just talking about the traveling.
Yeah. So we did not want to be pregnant for the wedding, but we figured, hey, a great time to get pregnant would be over the honeymoon.
Yeah, and trying to time it because so we have.
Sorry. Rewind. We're going to be there in wintertime, right before Christmas. So we're going to be there for all of the Christmas markets, which if you know anything about Europe in the winter, especially those places, those kind of not Middle Eastern, but like middle
Central,
European central countries, they are huge on Christmas. I'm pretty sure Santa Claus is from somewhere over there. Finland, which is where we're going.
I'm pretty sure it's northern Finland.
Might have just pulled that out of our asses too.
I think I saw
But the Christmas markets there are going to be huge. A lot of people are like, why are you going someplace really cold for your honeymoon? We're like, we enjoyed the beach, but one of our best experiences we shared together was taking a trip to Iceland and renting a sleeper van
Yep.
and traveling 10 days all throughout the
Mash. We ate,
Country of
slept,
Iceland.
cooked. We
Everything.
did everything in that van.
in the van. So that was amazing.
And it was so cold.
It was really fucking cold, and we almost died a few
We
times.
did.
But there were, just so many amazing experiences. So we thought, hey, the warm beaches would be a great honeymoon, but this would be equally as memorable.
Yeah. And we're not afraid.
Not afraid.
We're not afraid of, well, first of all, traveling to that many places.
Yeah.
Because you're the professional
Yeah, I've gone a lot of
backpacker
places.
over here. I just try and follow. I just do whatever. You're the knowledge master over
Yes.
here when it comes to traveling. So in addition to the honeymoon trip that we have planned, we're also for your Dirty 30.
Pew, 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 pew. Do I have DJ horn?
Do you have it?
I have Suwoo.
Oh, no. For his Dirty 30,
We'll
we
leave Suwoo
are
off.
going. Yes, please, thanks. We are going back to Europe, but different countries, and with his parents. We love traveling with Sean's parents. They are so much fun. And honestly, so his mom made a comment when we first booked the trip, like, don't be pregnant on this. I'm going to drink all the wine with you. But I'm like, it's not like we're going to Spain or
If you're
Italy.
pregnant, she'll be really happy anyways.
I'll just eat all this Swiss chocolate. Like,
Yeah, so for my birthday, we're going to Prague. Not Prague.
Portugal.
Sorry, get my P's mixed up. One P I won't get mixed up is that P and that V. Sorry. We're going to Portugal, Lisbon, and then we're going to Switzerland.
starting in Zurich.
Yeah, starting in Zurich. And then we'll probably hit a few places in Switzerland because Switzerland's just so beautiful. I've been there before. And then we might go to, Paris and potentially someplace in Italy. We have what, like 11 days, 10 days?
Yeah, I
10
think
days
by
on
the
the ground
time,
or
yeah, I
something
think
like
it's on
that.
the ground.
So we'll see what happens, but that'll be for my dirty 30.
Your
And
dirty
like she
30.
said, my parents are coming, and my parents are just so much fun to travel with. They're,
Yeah.
like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, they're incredible parents. So they're just a kick-ass time
Yeah.
all together. It's never a dull moment with my parents.
Yeah.
And weird enough, Amanda's like a younger version of my mom, which is kind of weird to think about, but my mom is my favorite person in the world, and which equally makes Amanda my favorite person in the world, not only because she's my wife, but she reminds me so much of my other favorite person.
No, I love your mom
I
so
think
much.
that,
I love your
and
whole family.
They
They're
get
just
along
like,
so well together.
yeah.
It's really weird that they're so similar. It kind of freaks me out sometimes, but it works
I love her.
perfectly.
So
So you'll definitely, hopefully, if luck is on our side, be pregnant during that.
yeah. But I definitely wanted to make sure that we were able to go to those things, so that's why we didn't really try previously.
Yeah.
We were thinking about just waiting until March altogether, and then it was kind of like, you know what?
Yeah, I
just-
feel like we're in.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
Just kind of like,
Is your
oh my God.
All right, I won't play that then. I won't play. It will be open for business. So yeah, we're
a little House of Sinners for you there.
yeah, we were going to try earlier, or try later. Try later, but we just figured, hey, I think now is the right time. Amanda's really old, so
Old balls, loose skin.
yeah,
gross.
gosh, that would be you.
You.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the perfect time. I'm gonna be 30, like I said, very soon. She'll be 33 in
By the birth.
Yeah, by the birth, in next August, if everything kind of goes as planned. My mom was pregnant with me when she was 33, so my parents are still very lively. Obviously, they travel with us to a lot of places.
Yeah, they've gone overseas with us.
Yeah, a couple times
Yeah.
now. Greece, Spain. This will be another trip. They're very mobile, and my dad's black, so still young as ever.
Black don't crack.
Yep. But yeah, that was one of the big things with, like, you were kind of concerned because you're a bit older than me, and I think having babies later on now is becoming, like, later in your life
Way
is
more
becoming
popular.
way more common.
Yeah.
And with all the advances we've had in the medical field, like, it's
As long as
much
you're healthy,
safer,
like there's
yeah.
not really any different.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think even with popping out, we want 2 kids. So even with popping out 2 kids, by the time you're, 35, 36 being done with pushing the babies out and having them,
Destroy my vag.
yeah, like by the time they're 18, the last one's 18 and they're out of the house, we'll still be in good enough age and shape, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm pretty freaking vain, so I have a really hard time letting myself get out of shape. So hopefully we'll still,
Yep.
be
We'll get new knees and hips, and we'll be ready to rock.
goddamn. I'll need new knees in like 3 years. God, my mind's like, you're 25. My knees are like, you're 65, dude.
Oh.
Your knees are crumbling. But
Yeah,
yes.
hopefully we'll still be good though. Anyway, so yeah, we've done a lot of awesome stuff leading up to now. We're like financially stable now. We got this.
We have a home,
We got this dope ass house.
a nice dog we've had forever.
Yeah, she's old now. She's 8. She's not that old, but
She's
she's
young at
getting
heart.
up there. Yeah.
Nina Sanchez, shout out.
Shout out,
We love you.
POP.
Holding it down.
But yeah, I think we're ready, and we're really solid in our relationship, and I feel like that's a huge positive.
Yeah, I feel like being at a good spot in your relationship is very important. Our relationship is very strange in terms of the fact that we're super similar, and where I'm like aggressive and dominant, she's passive, and where she's aggressive and dominant, I'm passive, and so it just works together. So we don't really get in arguments. We don't
like bicker at each other.
Yeah, we don't bicker. We don't really disagree on much of anything. We have, which is really important topic to talk about, a lot of the same views on how we want to raise our children.
Yes.
Which is super important. We kind of value money the same way. We have very similar religious views, or lack thereof.
Lack thereof.
When it comes to us. And yeah, I mean, again, just the way that we want to raise our kids is in line with each other, which I think, again, is a very important topic to talk about before you have children with somebody.
Yeah.
Because if, say that I wanted to have, I don't know much about religion, if I wanted to have our kid dipped in the water.
Baptized,
yep. If I wanted to have our kid baptized and she was like, not about that, that's going to create, a scuffle between, like, probably a physical scuffle. A scuffle between us. And, those are just things that I think need to be talked about before actually having kids. And yeah, we wanted the same amount of kids. Just all of those things I think are important topics to talk on before taking that next step. I mean, probably before getting married to somebody.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
really
let's be honest here,
but yeah, so our relationship is kind of uncommon, where it's so easy.
The easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. It's almost concerning that it's
like we've never had like a blowout, so it's like we have great communication.
Haven't had a blowout. Like, if we get in a slight disagreement, it'll be squashed in within 5 minutes.
I'll
She's
be like,
just,
I was cranky.
where's my camera? Talk to me, camera. Amanda's just such a nice person, Amanda King, that it's hard to argue with her, because if I see in my head that I'm like, ooh, she's being kind of dumb or something, I'm like, she's too nice to get mad at. So I don't want to like get mad at her and go off on her or anything, because I'm going to hurt her feelings. And she's just too nice to hurt her feelings. So unlike an asshole like me, where it's like, oh, if I was in her position, you could easily go off on me because I'm not the nicest person. But she just makes it so hard to argue with, because she's just so nice, which is kind of how I feel about my mom as well. And I think that's the thing that comes with age. Like, I don't know if I used to, maybe I just didn't come across anybody like you when I was dating in my younger years, but I would get in arguments with my ex-girlfriends and stuff. And I think that was a bit of immaturity, and I think that was a bit of not realizing what was important. Like, a lot of times I think, why even argue with you? Like, what is this going to lead to?
Yeah.
Am I going to feel good because I won the argument? Like, am I going to feel good because I made you feel bad? There's just no point in my head where I'm like, all right, so say I make her feel bad. That's going to make me feel bad. Say I win the argument, then she's going to be mad at me. That's not going to work out. I'm not getting dinner. There's just all these things where when it comes to arguing, I'm just like, there's no point. There's no point in doing that. So I think you feel kind of the same way. You're just not a very combative person anyways.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that makes us blend together really well and makes the relationship really smooth.
Yeah. I mean, goes hand in hand with the communication, and be like, I'm kind of grumpy today, but I feel like I don't like the way that you put the sponge in, like whatever.
Yeah, and the communication portion of it is very key, just the way that we talk to each other. And again, I'm not the most patient person, so if at any time I'm probably the one that gets a little bit more upset out of the two of us, but the communication is there.
Which is going to be...
Apparently somebody's getting in trouble because there's cops, sirens in the background, so...
I locked the front door before starting this, so...
Good to know. Nina would let us know anyways. But yeah, so we're not giving anybody relationship advice, but I do believe we have a very strong relationship.
Absolutely.
And I do think those are good, solid foundations of building a strong relationship. One is the communication. Two is just being mature, Yeah,
because you don't want to see your kid... You don't want your kids to, like, be around mom and dad yelling at each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of friends that have kids that all they do is yell at each other in front of the kids. I'm like, that's probably
a lot of people still do
it
it now. I know basically everybody in our generation, the millennials, all of their parents probably argued, a lot growing up, and you saw it a lot. I saw my parents argue a lot. I'm sure you saw your parents argue a lot.
They never did it in front of us.
That's a good quality.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quite recall if my parents did it in front of us, but I think they would try to do it, behind the scenes. But you hear it, and, as a kid, that's hard to kind of digest, and you don't really know what's going on. So just being on that same level with each other. And sure, this could all change when we have a kid, and we could want to fight each other all the time. We don't know. We're not parents yet.
Not yet.
But we're going to find out, and we're going to share. This may be therapy sessions when we come down and sit and do these podcasts. And I may be talking to you guys about all the things I'm upset with her about. And then she may, do the same. So always be on my side. Please. Thank you.
God damn it.
All right. Yeah. So what else we...
Yeah. So we're going to have a segment on all of our podcasts called Overseas Parenting, just because we love traveling so much. And
overseas parenting. I need like an echo of that or something. Something cool.
Like the Thundercats.
Yes. Oh. Thundercats, go.
Yeah, so this is going to be I have no idea what the cool little nugget is that Sean found, but
yeah, I found a sweet there's just, since we travel so much, there's, we enjoy finding quirky things out about other countries and places that we're going to. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not obsessed. Well, I mean, America's a great country, but I find other things about other countries just so fascinating.
And we have like not ambition. We have
Just
hopes and dreams to live.
a fantasy.
Hopefully
to become a reality.
Another word. God, I'm so bad with words. But we have aspirations.
There, nailed it.
Fucking got it. We have aspirations to live overseas at some point with our kids while they're young.
Yeah, I think like before school, like before preschool or
Yeah.
something.
When they're young, so they can soak in
The
another
language.
language, maybe just other culture and everything like that. So we just like to learn things about other countries, the way parents parent their children in other countries. And I have this sweet overseas parenting fact tidbit information for you guys. Where's my camera? Thank you. All right, so it's common practice in Nordic countries for babies to nap outside. Parents in Norway, Sweden, and Finland believe that sleeping outside offers health benefits. Now, you would think to yourself, sleeping outside during the summer, not a huge deal. That kind of makes sense to me. But wait.
Oh, God.
Even in below freezing weather, babies are often bundled up and put down for a rest in their strollers in the cold temperatures. Parents believe it's better for their kids to have fresh air, and they think it reduces their risk of catching a cold or flu from the indoor air.
Whoa.
So they put those are some of the strongest people and best looking people in the world.
Yeah.
So maybe
The Vikings knew what they were doing.
we have a baby and we put him out back under the covered patio, but out back, and they sleep out there.
I mean, they say being outside, like in nature for 15 minutes can boost your overall morale.
Yeah, and I think everybody needs that after these past year and a half, 2 years.
Wow, that's
but
so
that's crazy. You would think like, oh, okay, these babies sleep outside during the day, during the warmer times of the year. They're like negative 30 degrees out. Let's go ahead and put the baby outside.
Oh my gosh.
Take a little nappy nap.
I'm concerned about walking around outside when it's plus 30 degrees.
Mm-hmm. So that's our overseas parenting fact of the day.
If I see that when we're
Yeah,
there,
so we're
we'll
going
let you
there.
guys know.
If we're there in Finland and there's babies outside, I'll take pictures of them from a distance, but I'll take pictures and I'll bring them back and post them on the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So we'll come at you with a new one next week.
Yeah, wow. All right.
Very informational.
So thinking of like having a baby and just kind of like, I mean, obviously you need the perfect partner to have one, but also another fact of it, like I'm so terrified of things medical, like getting blood drawn. Like me and you, we both can't look at the needle at all. And just there's so many medical things associated with having a baby. I don't want to be dramatic, but it honestly terrifies me. Like I'm afraid to be pregnant. I'm afraid to have a baby. Like I want to be a mom, and I know I gotta go through this to get there. But it's really scary to me. And I know there's like some tests that they do. I think there's one where they stick a needle through your belly button and get
Oh my God.
like the fluid around to like test for
Belly button?
certain stuff. I don't know exactly. I have not looked, like, basically before, like, what, a month ago? I have never looked into anything pregnancy, like, even growing up. Just, it scared me so much. And and this is just me being completely honest with everyone out here. Like, most people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can't wait. I know everything about like the symptoms and all this stuff and like the birthing process. Like, I have never in my life looked into this at all. So
I'm
like,
sure you're not alone when it comes to that. I mean, first of all, they say it's the most painful thing you can do. So that seems scary. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I just want to do the most painful thing I could ever do, a couple times.
yeah, a couple times.
Which seems wild. And just all of the, God, I didn't know about the belly button thing. That's pretty freaky.
I think my mom told me that they had to do that to her because I can't remember what it's called, but the placenta was on the wrong side, so I wasn't growing. So they had to like get the fluid to test it to see, I don't know, certain deficiencies or something. I don't know exactly. I got to ask her. Probably should have talked to her about that yesterday when I called her. But
you know how many people would be on Earth if guys had to birth babies through their pee holes? The one guy that started the whole thing. There would be nobody here. I could never do that. I do not have the huevos to birth something the size of a watermelon through a hole that's the size of, well,
yeah, well, that's
small.
Babies would have to be like the size of a bean or something to go through there. I don't know.
I don't know. Stretch pretty big.
I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
But yeah, again, I'm sure you're not alone on that. I'm sure a lot of the people, maybe 3 people that listen to this when it comes out,
Yeah.
maybe one of them is like, yeah, it seems scary to me too. So
yeah. It was like when I went over to my brother's and my sister-in-law was watching these like Facebook series of
live birth.
Yeah, live births. It was just people through their pregnancy and like all the problems they go through, and then it has them literally giving birth. And I'm just like, I was mortified, and I was like, holy shit, I don't want to do this at all. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
And then you talk about all the things that can go wrong, and but the good thing about what I've heard for the most part is that pregnancy, it's hereditary, like your process, like how you carry, or like if you have long labors, they say typically things like that are genetic.
Oh, really?
I don't know the facts on that. That could just be straight bullshit. I honestly don't know.
There's a lot of unknown facts on this show, so
yeah. So
we will let you know when things are facts.
If you
Everything
had-
else, don't take it as fact. Well, like babies can fly sometimes. Like
if you throw them.
Jesus,
That's
horrible
terrible.
mom comment.
I got my wife life hoodie
Yeah.
on.
Jeez, you've been watching too much football.
Just touchdown. Anyways, yeah. So obviously we're not pregnant right now, but I am on my last pack of birth control,
Yes.
and I don't think we've told any of our parents yet. I don't want the pressure.
Yeah, no, I haven't told my parents.
I told a couple friends.
Yeah, which I'm hoping they don't tell our parents. Well, my parents. I don't think any of our friends talk to your parents.
No one talks to my parents except my brothers and I.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about birth control. I don't know, like, obviously it makes you not have babies. Well,
Yeah,
it's supposed
it's
to make you
supposed
not
to.
have babies.
Yeah.
And I also know that it can really fuck up your body as far as, like, throwing your hormones in a swirly dervish.
Swirly
loopy.
dirly.
Yeah.
The old swirly dirly.
But besides
That's like
that,
Rick and Morty.
I know there's multiple ways to take it. There's the pill form. There's that thing that goes in your arm. There's
The IUD.
IUD. Yeah, but what has been your experience with?
So I have basically been on the pill since I was 16.
Whew. Seems normal, I think, right?
Yeah, I was on ortho tricycline, which is a combination pill. So combination. So there's two different kinds of the birth control pills. There's the combination and then the progesterone only pills, and the progesterone only pills are less common because I'll start with the combo pills. So combo pills, they have estrogen and progesterone. Progesterone. I don't know how to say it. And that's typically what most people take. Same time every day, blah, 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 whatever. But if you can take it up to like 24 hours later or something, and as long as you don't do it multiple days in a row, it's fine. And it's the same thing. So like with IUDs, there's also combo ones, and there's also non-hormonal IUDs, like the copper inserts.
I've heard of the copper inserts.
Yeah, so that would be the equivalent of the birth control that I'm on. So basically since 16, I was on the combo pill, and then I have high blood pressure. Thanks, Dad.
Shout out to salt.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I don't eat any salt. I'm so lame. I'm like, do you put salt on that? Don't you? I got high blood pressure.
I love salt. I have low blood pressure, so salt it up, son.
So basically, so it's 2021. So February, I got put on blood pressure medication, and they're like, you can't take, like, you have to stop taking your combo birth control immediately. Like, it's not good for your liver or your kidneys or whatever. So, so then I just wasn't on any birth control from it was like February 1st or something like that, all the way until July 1st.
And that can be dangerous.
Yeah. Oh man. Like, to say that I downloaded an app so I can track when, like, swear to God, I tracked when we had sex, because it would tell you on your fertile days, and I'd be like, okay, we definitely
keep that eggplant away from me.
Not doing that day. Which that is actually a form of birth control itself. I can't remember the technical name, but it's basically of like knowing your body and like what days you're fertile, and then just avoiding sex on those days.
Oh, that sounds risky.
It's pretty common, and then I guess you get like really in tune with your body. But I am lazy, so I just would rather take a pill every day.
Makes more sense, yeah.
So, but because I'm on the high blood pressure medication, they gave me the progesterone only pill. But so the standard one is called the mini pill. And I remember trying that a couple years ago when I first was battling blood pressure, and it made me psycho. Like,
Was this before we were together?
This was way before we were together.
Okay, I'm like, I don't recall you ever being psycho.
No, like,
so that's good.
Yeah, I think this was like 2016. I think it was 2016 when I tried it for 3 months, and I was like manic. Like, I felt bipolar, and I cried. I almost cried every day for 3 months straight. Like, it made me feel terrible. And I was like, I gave it 3 months, and I was like, bro, you got to get me the fuck off of this thing. Like, I do not like the person I am right now.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was really hard on my body. And then so I was like really, really afraid of this type of birth control. Anyway, so when I went to the doctor of July of this year to get back on it, because I was like, shit, man, I really don't want to be pregnant before the wedding. Like, we should really do something. And she's like, oh, well, you can do the IUD or the shot. And I was like, I don't want something that long term. I want just a couple months. So the pill made more sense. But she said there was a new one called Slind that just came out, which is a different version of the mini pill, but did the same thing. But it was just like brand new on the market.
Sounds promising.
Well, she said the overall she's had good feedback about it, and so I've been on that July, August, September, October, the last almost 5 months.
Okay.
And I mean, besides acne, I feel like it doesn't really mess with me too much.
Yeah, and honestly, the acne hasn't even been that serious. It's like,
I am my own worst critic.
Yeah,
like, oh,
everybody is their
shit
own
on
worst
my
critics,
face.
but it's not like you're getting
Cystic, yeah, it's not
crazy amounts of acne all over your face, and like you're getting some bumps, but it's not anything wild.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. But being that I work from home, all I do is just stare at myself in the mirror all day. So
That's good for the ego for sure. The longer I look at myself,
when I wear my
the less I
pajamas
find
all
it.
day.
Yeah, you're like, I look great. So now you're getting off of it, or
Yeah.
when does it end?
I think it's supposed to end November. Okay. It was supposed to originally end November 14th, but I took like 3 or 4 days of a different pack because I was like trying to time my potential ovulation with being in Europe. So I had to take a couple extra days. But the thing about progestin only birth control is sometimes it stops your ovulation and sometimes it doesn't. So like my periods have been completely irregular since I've been on it.
Oh, wow. Convenient.
Yeah, I know. So what, I didn't have a period for like the first month. Like sometimes I get one, sometimes I don't. Like I got my period and then 2 weeks later, I got my period again. And
See, that's not strange at all to me because I don't know how periods work.
yeah, no,
Is it
you're,
supposed to be once a month?
yeah. It's supposed to be between 3 and 5-ish days. So a normal cycle is 28 days. Technically.
Stick in there, fellas.
Yeah, so you can kind of, so like with birth control, you'll know when you're going to have your period because they have like the off pills. But a lot of progestin only don't have those off pills. So you just have the same day every day. And then it's
Gotcha.
kind of up to your body, be like, oh, I think I'm going to have a period now, or maybe not this month or whatever. So it's really confusing. And there's actually not a whole lot of information online. So when I was trying to look up like when ovulation happens after getting off progestin only, there's not information on it because it's technically only for women that are over 35 who smoke or have high blood pressure. Those are the 2 categories of who gets the birth control that I'm on.
You talking about this new on the market stuff?
Just progestin only in general.
Wow. That's interesting.
If you're over 35 and you smoke, or if you have high blood pressure.
And you're all of those things.
Don't.
47, heavy smoker, and high blood
I'm
pressure.
smoking right now. What's up? No.
So what's the timeline supposed to be like once you get off it to the potential to be able to get pregnant?
So on the normal combo pill, everything says like it could take up to 3 months for your cycle to become regular again, to when then you know exactly when you're ovulating. But I mean, I know a lot of my female friends, they got pregnant right after the first period they had after getting off of birth control. But the thing about the progestin only, the kind that I'm on, is it says your cycle goes back to normal immediately. Well, I don't know if that's 24 hours later. I don't know if that's a couple of days. There's not really a lot of information on it. So it said you can get pregnant within a couple of days or a couple of weeks of getting off of it. But because my periods have been so irregular and I haven't been on it for that long, and I haven't even been testing ovulation because we just kind of decided, or rather soon that we was like, oh, I think we'll stop now. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know when I ovulate. I don't know anything. Like I looked up cervical mucus, how to tell. And I was like, I just know some days it's like wetter than others naturally, but like I didn't know that means that I'm like ovulating.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we'll just do it all over Europe. I'll mark it in my little app and
See where that baby's made.
yeah, see what happens. Because I have no idea.
Made in China. That'd be cool though.
Made in
Making a baby in another country.
Don't make me send you back to where you came from.
Yeah. I want to go back to Finland. You're like, all right, well, fuck you then, baby. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
that's
I don't know.
informational. Like I said, didn't really know anything about birth control. I didn't know anything about ovulation. As far as like, I feel like if I pump it in you, you could get pregnant.
So technically, you can only get pregnant when you're ovulating. So sperm actually it can live in the vagina for up to 5 days, but the egg drops on one day. So you have to time having sex to when your sperm is there at the same time that it releases. And you can technically get pregnant 24 hours after ovulation.
And how often do you ovulate?
Once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So your period is
so if you did it basically every day for 30 days, like there's a really good chance you get pregnant?
I don't know. I guess.
Try it out.
I mean, yeah, we'll try it out for 17 days straight.
Yeah. Hopefully it's
Try it out.
Try it out.
we'll see.
But yeah, so that's kind of why I took some extra pills, because like I don't know when I'll ovulate. I fucking have no idea. But based on this app, it's telling me I should ovulate at some point when we're in Europe. So
Okay. And gentlemen, if you guys are listening to this podcast and you plan on having a kid someday with a lady, and you soak up this information and you bring it to the table, she's going to be impressed. You're going to be like, hey, when is your ovulation start? Because that's when we should be doing it. And I know that sperm lives in the vagina for 5 days, potentially. And you could get pregnant a day after, up to 24 hours after.
it's like 5 days leading up to ovulation, obviously, because sperm lives 5 days, and then 24 hours after ovulation. And ovulation happens on technically, I think it's the 14th day of your cycle.
Yeah. There's nothing that makes your girl more wet than knowledge. So make sure you're bringing this stuff to the table. All right. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. This is like things I look up or try to look up.
Also Christmas markets in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. And what is it? Glogie?
Glogie. Is that a drink?
Yeah, the hot wine.
Hot wine. About to have some hot wine.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so that's welcome to today's TED Talk of ovulation. No.
Ovulation 101.
Yeah.
Anything else you got?
What do you think parenting will be like?
What do I think parenting will be like? Well, everybody said marriage would be really hard, and I'm sure it's going to get harder, but it hasn't been hard. I don't think it's any different than our dating life.
Well, the last 3 years have been pretty easy.
But parenting, I have this kind of scenario in my head that it's going to be easy and my kid's just going to listen to things I say because I'm cool and I'm hip. So I'm sure it's going to be really hard then. Hopefully we get an easy baby like our good friends Michael and Mariah. Their baby, Javi,
Dude, the chillest baby.
So chill.
So chill.
Take that baby to the bar. Like, you just hang out with that
Balin was
baby.
super chill. My niece,
Really?
my first niece, she slept. I mean,
Yeah, so hopefully we get a baby that's really chill. Chances are no chill. So I've heard from everybody that it's the hardest thing you do, but it's the most rewarding thing that you do. And I'm just so excited to be a parent, be a dad, to, raise kids, and excited to see what they decide they want to do, whether that be sports, whether that be, music, whatever it is. I'm just ready to be all in on what it is that they want to do, because I had such a good time growing up with my family and them pushing me into the things that I wanted to do and supporting me, and just the memories that you make with them on the long weekends of, sport outings. And that was my avenue growing up, but just anything. My parents were so supportive of whatever I wanted to do. So I'm really looking forward to just creating more good people, because it seems like, at least right now, there's a lot of shitty people out there.
yeah.
I'm hoping that we could add to, kind of balance that out a little bit more, add some good people back in there. And like we say in the intro, hopefully not raise a couple of assholes.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be difficult, but I'm definitely up for the challenge. What about you? Don't cry. God.
I know. I'm just every time that I think about how much I love Sean, I start crying, and it's like instant. It's not like I'm bawling, but like my eyes water every single time. I'm just like, I just love you so much. And then hearing him talk about being a dad, of course, like my eyes are starting to like glaze over.
So gay.
I know. And I'm just like, oh, like I just love you so much, and then like wanting like a little person that's half me and half you. Charles.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what our kid's gonna look like, because
Yeah.
again, if you're watching, you have no idea. I'm half black. It's really weird. I know. The beard is very...
And the blue eyes.
The beard and the blue eyes are misleading, but I look just like my dad, except he's way darker than me. But it'll be really interesting to see, what our genes make and what our babies look like. Your eyes are like green, orange color. Mine are blue. We're both kind of larger than average human beings. You're 5'8", I'm 6'4". We both have no calves. No calves and really flat feet.
Yeah.
So, all things we'll talk about later on in the podcast, traits, attributes, qualities we hope our kids get. But, how are you feeling about?
Yeah, I think it will be really hard. That's for sure. I'm think it'll give us a really rude awakening and patience. And obviously,
Patience. I have a whole episode for patience.
yeah.
I just want to talk just about patience.
And just so I listened to this one podcast and it said something about rage, a rage that you get, just because you're like, oh my God, you won't stop crying. I'm so exhausted and whatever. But anyways, it's just I don't know why I went off on that little tangent, but I think...
Well, because I'm sure that's a problem that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
It's very common. And I feel like you just have to realize in that moment, this is just me being upset
Frustrated,
with the
yeah.
situation. It's not my kid's I'm going to piss you off and just cry.
Not until they're...
Yeah, it's obviously not intentional.
Yeah. But I think being a parent will be incredible. I'm hoping I just think about how terrible I was as a teenager. That's a whole different topic.
That'll be a podcast.
I'm just really excited, but most of all, I'm really excited to do it with you. I feel like if I didn't have you, if something were to happen to you, I don't know how I would do it by myself.
She's
so
and what's your life insurance policy?
But I think it'll be really rewarding and really challenging. But I'm really excited to watch you become a father, and I think we're going to be cool parents.
Yeah, I think we will too.
I
I think every
you're
parent
cool.
thinks they're going to be cool
I
parents,
know.
and then they end up being losers. Well, at least in their kids' eyes. But no, I think there are kids who think their parents are cool. But I definitely don't want to be one of those parents that our kids view us just as their friends. I want them to know that we're their parents. But I do think our style of parenting, much like our style of communication within our relationship with each other, will do well.
Yeah,
And
hopefully they'll respect us.
yeah. And I think they'll respect us. Again, we were talking about this earlier. I think kids, from what I've heard, kids only do what you do. They don't do what you say. And so I think the actions that we have amongst one another, just how good we are to each other, how natural we are together, I think they'll pick up on that, and they'll be good, caring kids.
And we have common
Hopefully.
sense. So
Yeah, common sense.
that's really smart.
The least common thing about people these days. Awesome. Well, I'm fucking stoked. I'm stoked to do this podcast. I'm stoked to learn a bunch of shit about parenting. I'm stoked for you guys to write in and comment and, send us questions and send us suggestions. We're going to talk about
Tips,
a bunch of
yep.
different things as far as products, best products for parenting, parent hacks. What are some best ways to do things to save time, and just all of these different topics that we want to talk about. It's an endless pool of, potential information, and, it's just more time that we get to spend together and a closer bond that we get to build with each other, and hopefully with you guys. A lot of people are parents out there. A lot of people that we know our age are either already parents or becoming parents. So it's nice that, we're kind of in that age group.
We'll have good support, but
Yeah. If you guys like this, like we said before, please go rate and review it on the Apple Podcast app.
Yep, follow us on there and
All of our social media, and we're stoked. We'll do a podcast when we get back from Europe. which will be the next one that you hear.
Obviously, I won't know by
yeah,
then.
we won't know if we're pregnant, but we'll do a podcast talking about the trip and talking about how much we effed, and we'll
And
talk,
where.
yeah, and where, and we'll talk about sex positions. We'll talk about if there are sex positions that have the potential to get you pregnant better than others. If doing it real deep doggy style is better for a boy or potentially a girl, we'll cover those
What
things.
does Dwight say? For a boy, you have to keep the uterus warm or
Yeah,
something?
it's got to be at a certain temperature. So, we'll cover all of these.
Pregnancy myths debunked. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
I mean, this is going to be so much fun and just endless potential for good conversation, growing closer to each other.
Hopefully, we'll teach you guys some stuff. You'll teach us some things and make you laugh along the way.
Yeah,
Maybe be a little weirded out. I'm kind of awkward sometimes, so
she is for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I don't have anything else. We can go ahead and do the outro. Oh, I will play our disclaimer.
Oh,
At
yep.
the end of every podcast, there will be a disclaimer so you guys don't sue us for something that we told you not to do or to do jokingly.
Like throwing your baby like a football.
Yeah, throwing a baby like a football. Disclaimer. Don't
Don't
fucking
do that. Don't
That's
fucking do that.
That's not a cool way to treat your baby.
No. You're saying don't shake the baby?
Shake the baby. I see you winking at me. Are we shaking the baby? Don't shake the baby. Okay, this is all joking.
No, I'm joking. Welcome to
Welcome to
Trying
to
to
Parent
Parent podcast.
I guess disclaimer. We'll end it on that. Disclaimer.
Oh, that's gonna be
Oh
good.
my God.
We are married to each other. We are not married to any of these ideas. We are not giving anyone advice on how to raise their children. We do not know what the hell we are doing. Hence the name Trying to Parent. This is all trial and error. We are simply trying not to raise a couple of assholes. With that being said, make sure to tune in next week. Peace. All right. It's been real, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.